Welcome back to the Spectator's Perspective. I'm your host, Kemper Kozlowski, along with your other host here, Corey Cebulski. And this was a really great episode. We got coming up for you an interview with Kaylee Itzenhauser, the stud volleyball player for our volleyball team, as they've gone off to a great start for their season. And we're also going to talk a little bit more about ourselves as well. We're going to talk about why we play the sports we play, because last week we talked a lot about Division III sports and why people play, but we didn't really get into why we play personally. So can't wait to talk about our stories, and we hope you guys enjoy. This is the Spectator's Perspective.
Alrighty, back on the Spectator's Perspective podcast, we're sitting down with Kaylee Itzenhauser, who was the Athlete of the Week this previous week for the women's volleyball team. Your team's been off to an incredible start this season. Can you break down kind of like where you've traveled to, what the games have looked like, and what your competition is kind of like?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun this year. We started off strong going to New York City for a full weekend, and we played NYC, a really good top 10 team, and then we played some other, again, ranked teams. Coach really just jam-packed her schedule this year with tough components to try to get us into this NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. So it's been a lot of fun. We've been great. We have no seniors this year.
Wow.
So we are definitely trying to get this young team going fast, going strong, and keep it rolling all the way to the end.
Well, since you don't have any seniors, that means that you'll have an even stronger team next year, theoretically,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
I heard that you're coming off of an injury as well, right?
I am. I tore my ACL in the NCAA tournament last year. I went down and we lost the game. So I was coming back from that, and luckily I got released this summer, so I got to work hard and came back stronger and better than ever.
How has that changed your mindset or perspective to like when it comes to like playing the game? Because I know that when injuries come, sometimes like athletes can have a bit of an identity crisis when like something that becomes such a big part of your life, and when you make a choice like going to college to play a sport and then you can't and you have to face the reality of I might never be able to play this sport again. What was your mindset going through that level of injury?
I've actually never had an injury before of any type.
Wow.
So this was my first. I just apparently wanted to go at the bang and set it all out there. So it was definitely really tough on me. But for me, the most mental part was actually coming back and playing volleyball again, like in season, coming back with the two-a-days. I was really struggling. I kept comparing myself to where I was last year. And again, that was 9 months ago when I was at the best shape of my life. I was playing volleyball constantly, and I just had to learn I can't compare, and I had to start fresh, start over, and take it one day at a time and enjoy the little moments that I see myself coming back into my own game. And now I think I'm at a better place than I ever was before. So as tough of a injury it is to come back and go through it and see your body physically change, I am now stronger mentally and physically than ever before. So
Wow. Well, you said just loving the little things that you have. A lot of athletes, like some people say that they play for God, they play for their friends, their teammates, their coaches. Why do you play?
I play for the joy of the game. I get so competitive. I love the spirit. I love the crowd because it's always crazy. It's always exciting. The adrenaline's running. And it's just fun playing with your friends. Volleyball has always been my main go-to for my friends. I am a very reserved person outside of volleyball, and people think I'm insane for the difference between just seeing me in a class and then seeing me on the court. So it's just playing with your friends and enjoying something and just having fun with life instead of having all these worries and stressors about school and jobs and everything else that comes later anyways.
Also, I forgot to ask you, what is your major?
I'm an elementary ed major with a special ed and ESL endorsement.
And you're a junior,
I'm a
correct?
junior.
Okay, so next year you have all the student teaching.
Yep. And luckily for me, that's second semester. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. Yep. Yeah, that'll be a lot easier for you, I'm sure. So, because you guys will be out of season at that point.
We will be.
Cool. And then I know like with education majors, I know that like second semester it's like you're at school and then you're at a different school and you don't really have time for any form of really like extra stuff other than like post 9 o'clock kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different kind of schedule that I'm on because the student teaching does not get counted for in your credits or in your school day. So the good thing about it is that you get to plan it yourself. So when you have the free time, so when you don't have those days, you actually pretty much have a day off. But at the same time, on those other days, you're going from school to student teaching, back to school, trying to get it all in. And it's just time managing, definitely. But.
Wow. Well, do you know what your future looks like beyond Milliken? Like, we can't all play our sport forever, unfortunately. So what do you think is going to come in your life that you will have to use to replace that?
I think I'm definitely going to coach, whether it be for a high school team or my coach is actually wanting me to coach college.
Wow.
She sees that future in me, which I have been looking a little more into. But I definitely want to teach. I've been wanting to be a teacher since I was in like second grade. I love it. I love the thrill of it. I love when the students get the like light bulb moment in their head. So I'm going to go back home, student teach back in my hometown for a little bit and just see where life takes me. I'm a very like just go with the flow type of girl, and I'm excited. I will definitely always have sports in my life because there's a ton of adult leagues, a ton of beach. I play grass, beach all over summer, so I stay active that way.
I mean, do you have any ideas of like where you would want to coach college-wise? Because obviously there's 3 divisions you can coach in.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I like to challenge myself. So if I do end up going coaching, I would probably start at the bottom and work my way to the top because I won't let myself stop until I get there.
When it comes to the why we do our sport, I really think that it's important to understand like what would happen if we didn't have our sport. I feel like we get so caught up in like, I've been doing this sport for this many years, or I grew up doing this and it's just become such a big part of my life. How much would that affect me if one day I couldn't do this thing? And I think that when it comes to sports specifically, I mean, I know we're both decently affiliated with FCA and we know that like it's bigger than just us out there on the court, on the field or whatever. But I feel like for me personally, the why is I love doing it. I love the adrenaline rush. I love practicing with my friends. I love the highs and the lows of it all. But for me, it's just like, it's another opportunity to spread the gospel to people. I mean, you're meeting people that go through incredibly similar struggles to you. And like when it comes to your teammates, you are going through the same grueling workouts every single day. And sometimes they're going to have great days and you're going to have bad days and vice versa is going to happen. And it's how you respond in those situations that can ultimately change somebody's life. And I really feel like for the people out there that don't share my beliefs, I think that when it comes to just like spending that much time with other people, like when you like add up the hours across the entire school year for how much as a track team we spend time together or just your specific event group, I would argue it's hundreds of hours you end up spending. I mean, especially when you throw into like the mix like track meets where you're together for 8 hours a day kind of thing. Like when we're at conference and we have meets that last 2 days and we're there, I really think that it's just another way to to just show love for other people. My biggest experience with this was last year. I think we were at Rose Holman, right? And it was an indoor meet, and I had it was one of our first indoor meets, I believe.
Yep.
I don't know, first 2 or 3, something like that. And I mean, bunch of teams there. For those that don't know, I'm a pole vaulter on the track team. And last year I was chasing a school record, and I ended up getting it, but this was the meet where had the opportunity to jump at it, didn't quite get it. I was really down on myself, really disappointed. But I remember as we went through the meet and the warm up, there was this one guy. He was from WashU. His name was Tommy, and he was absolutely destroying it in the warm up. If you enter sport, sometimes you just go to those meets or those games where you see the other team in the warm up, and you're just wow, we're gonna get whooped, kind of thing. And there's nothing you can do about it. But the beauty of pole vault is yes, you're competing against those other people, but you're more so competing against yourself. And so he's absolutely killing it in the warm-up. We get to competition time. The height that I end up going out on, he ends up entering on. And so I take my 3 attempts, and I miss, and I'm done. And this guy who was just killing it in the warm-up was not really competing at the level that he could be during competition. And whenever he would miss, I could hear him muttering things under his breath, but I couldn't tell quite what he was saying until I realized that he was, I think he was reciting Bible verses under his breath and saying God, I want to make you more and myself less, and my success doesn't equate to how much you love me, kind of thing. And he got to his last attempt, and I love talking to my competitors just because we all go through the same thing, and why not support each other? And so we're just talking, and I heard him say verses earlier, and so I asked him, I was hey, is it okay if I just pray with you? And he was yeah, of course. And so put my hand on his back, we bowed our heads, and I remember I just told God to allow him to be a conduit for his spirit, and he completely locked in and went up for his last attempt, cleared the bar by a mile, came up, gave me a huge hug, And then shortly after, proceeded to go on to like jump 16.6, attempt a school record, and have like probably one of the best meets of his season. And now every time we see each other, whether it's indoor or outdoor, and I can't wait to see him again this year, like we give each other hugs, we hang out, we try and see like what we've been up to, and then before we compete, we always pray, and we're just so incredibly supportive of each other, even though we are actively competing against one another. And like my interaction with just him has opened up the door to like all of his other teammates like coming up and greeting us during like meets and competition just because of that one interaction. And like that interaction was obviously like just between the two of us, but like for all of the people that were watching at that meet, because like Tommy was the main event to watch at that meet. And so like we had a lot of people lined up and watching. I know a lot of our team was lining up because like I just attempted a school record even though I had missed. But like it was something that a lot of people saw. And even if personally like you don't share those beliefs, like it would have been an opportunity for maybe you to like consider like thinking about it in a different way. And it wasn't like a way of me like forcing it on him or anything like that. Like he had every opportunity to say no, and if he said no, I would have said that would be totally fine. But like I got to pray for him, and like we got to see the incredible outcome about what God was able to do in his life.
Yeah, and it kept going too. I remember later in the season for our first outdoor meet when we went to St. Louis to watch you. I was watching the triple jump, and because it's over by that pole vault area, and I just happened to be looking around, and I see like a group of people praying like in a circle, just arms around each other, just heads bowed, and it was really beautiful because I saw you in the middle of that, and I saw Tommy along with you and a bunch of other Wash U guys, and the first time, last year I was a freshman, obviously, and the first time we ever raced against Wash U, like, everybody was just talking trash about them, like, even our coaches were like, oh, Wash U always kicks our butts every year, like, let's go get him this year, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than just beating the person you're playing. It's trying to spread the gospel and showing the love of Jesus Christ as well, and that's kind of what our track team as a whole has really tried to do, because with FCA, we'll have, like 40 people there, and about 25 of them, or 30 of them will be track people. And God has really just blessed our track team, especially from last year, because with our track FCAs, at the beginning of the year, we had about 8 people, and at the end of the year, we had 30 or so, something like that. And some of them were from the volleyball team as well. So just really grateful for the way that God has blessed our team and allowed us to really minister to our own team and to other teams as well. Like I said, that Wash U example was just so beautiful because it was so unexpected. I didn't really expect anything to come out of it because you're just sitting there watching triple jump, listening to the music that's being played. It's not like worship music or anything like that. There was no prompting by anything outside of what Corey had put on his heart, and it just happened to have a pretty big prayer circle, and it was pretty substantial, I would say. It was a really cool thing to witness.
I'm really excited to see what we end up seeing like happen and change with this year. Now that like we have that kind of foundational moment, I'm sure that we're going to have people from our team as well as Wash U teams and hopefully other teams that see that want to take the opportunity to pray and or even just like greet one another and understand that like we're all human beings, we're all going through the same struggles, and we're all about to compete against each other. Why not cheer each other on while we're all doing it, kind of thing.
So for me personally, my why has really been discovered over the course of my entire life. Sports have always been a huge part of my family. Obviously, my dad was able to play professional baseball for the Royals, Brewers, and Cardinals organizations. So if you walk into my house, baseball, it's like a baseball museum. There's jerseys everywhere. There's old baseballs everywhere. There's pictures of baseballs and stuff like that. So I really went throughout my entire life thinking that I was going to play baseball, more than likely not professionally, and because I mean it's extremely difficult to even accomplish that in the first place, let alone college. But yeah, I kind of went through my life thinking I was going to play baseball, and whatever other sport that I could do would just be a filler. And it kind of turned around on its head. Like I played baseball since I was probably 4 or 5, all the way up until my 8th grade year of school. It was always a really big part of my life, and I'm kind of sad that it's not a bigger part of my life for me personally for sports, because that's like the sport that I want to cover for my entire life and I want to dedicate my life to as well. But track has always been that sport for me. I I was never very good at a sport with a ball. I was just fast. For example, soccer, I had no technical skill whatsoever, but I was put at striker because I could just outrun people and maybe get lucky and put the ball in the net. I was a guy who's like, back up, he's fast, whatever. And I was never very good at baseball, which I think is a little ironic, like I said, because of my dad. And I always have people come up to me like, oh, is your dad disappointed? Like jokingly, they say, is your dad disappointed that you're not playing baseball, but your twin brother is? And I'd say definitely not, because he's proud of us no matter what. But it just really took me a long time to find my why, because I would say I was definitely running to glorify myself. I was running worrying about what other people were thinking about me and only me. I wasn't worried about the team. I wasn't worried about the people I was competing against, especially. I didn't have any care for what they were doing at all. And then it kind of went that same way through high school. I was really running to glorify myself. I wasn't running to glorify God at all. And then I get to college. I was kind of coming into college not really expecting to pursue faith at all. I was kind of coming into college running away from that, if anything. I was like, oh, sweet, like I'll be away at college. Maybe I won't have to wake up early on a Sunday and go to church. But it really turned on its head. God has blessed my life so much since I've been here, and I'm so eternally grateful for it. He's blessed me with some great friends. He's blessed me with a great season of track, which I hope to follow up with, obviously. But I would say my why is definitely to glorify Jesus Christ and to glorify God throughout how I compete. And I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm going to be unapologetically myself about that in Christ. And I'm going to continue to try and spread the gospel as much as I can through how I compete. And there's already been fruits of that. Like, for example, last year, kind of like I touched earlier, our track FCA was only about 8 or 9 people, and it grew to be about 20 to 25 within just one semester, because the second semester was when that really took off. And you have a group of people who compete together, who are reading the Bible together and pouring into each other, not just not on a surface level, but really connecting with each other, because God has allowed us to, and I'm so grateful for that, and I really can't wait to see where it goes, because I've still got 3 years of school left, so I'm gonna make every attempt possible to continue to grow that, and I just can't wait to see where it is by my senior year. But I also don't want to miss that. I want to make sure that I take advantage of every opportunity that's put in front of me to spread the gospel and to spread the message of Jesus Christ through running. Because last year we were also able to do a prayer circle at conference, which I thought was extremely powerful, because it was our team reaching out to other teams saying, this is what we believe, this is what we have faith in, and if you'd like to join us, you don't have to join us, but if you'd like to, that'd be amazing. And we were able to have teams or representatives from, I believe it was Wesleyan, Carroll, Carthage. I'm sure there were a few others. I'm probably missing a few, but we were able to come together as a conference even. I thought it was really cool because it was at the conference meet, so that's when you're supposed to hate each other. That's when you're really supposed to lock in to defeat one another and to compete against each other, but we competed with each other. We encouraged each other and strengthened each other. We prayed for each other. It was awesome. I can't wait to do it again this year, because I'm going to make sure that we do it again this year. But it's been really cool to finally have that reason that I've been looking for to run, because I was definitely empty when I was running for myself, because I let myself down. I had bad days, I had bad races, but Jesus is never going to let me down. God's never going to let me down, so I don't have to worry about that at all. And it takes so much pressure off of me as an athlete too, knowing that I'm running to glorify Him, because regardless of if I have a good race or a bad race, if I glorified Him through that good or bad race, and I've done my mission, I've accomplished my goal, regardless of what my time looks like on a score sheet. And it's definitely allowed me to compete better as well, because I don't have those anxieties anymore nearly as much. I don't worry about what coach is going to say or what my teammates or competitors are going to say to me if I have a bad race, because I know there's a person who's never going to let me down, even when I let myself down. So I would definitely say finding my why and spreading the gospel and trying to glorify Jesus Christ through every time I run, I would say that's definitely freed me up as an athlete, and it's been incredible. I try and spread the gospel every time I compete, and even if you see me on campus, please come up to me. I'm willing and able to talk about the gospel to you if you would like to hear that. But it's really just been incredible to grow as an athlete and grow spiritually as well. So I've really enjoyed my my time here, my 1 year, and I can't wait to see where my next 3 years take me.
Yeah, it's been crazy to see all these things happening just over the course of a year, and I'm not gonna lie, the more that like I keep seeing God move through like our team, our campus, our FCA, through Avada, like it makes me want to come back for a third year. And like when I first came into this school year, I was kind of like, in the fifth year, like I'm kind of ready to be done with school. I don't know, just because like I'm a communications major, so like I've never heard of someone in the communications field have their masters and have that like mean anything. But I'm kind of considering just doing it just so I can be here and so I can compete for another year. Just because I really am not ready to not be a part of all of this. Yeah, and it feels like, because for those that don't know, I'm a transfer student here, so transferred into my junior year last year, and now I'm a senior. So even though it feels like I just kind of like got settled and I like really got integrated into a friend group and I'm affiliated with these clubs and things like that, it already feels like I'm getting ready to make the transition to leave. And I just don't think I'm quite ready to do that yet. So we'll see what God has in the cards for me, because it's not up to me ultimately. But I would absolutely love to be here another year, but we'll just have to see.
And sorry, what's happening on our campus here is very uncommon. It's not something that you see everywhere. For example, like you probably know Jarius Ingram,
Yep.
if you're listening to this, because he's one of the most influential people that's ever come onto this campus, and he's been so influential in my life as well. But he has friends from ISU and from other way bigger colleges than what we go to, and they're all in FCA. And he asks them how it's going, and he's like, well, we got about 6 or 7 people, and it's not about numbers, but what I'm trying to say here is what is happening on our campus is not normal. Our campus is not very big, but regardless of how small our campus is, the faith presence here is real. And it took me almost a year to realize that, like, there are people in our community that see what's happening here. For example, when I went to church about 3 weeks ago, the pastor literally talked about like the revival that's happening at Milliken's campus. And I think it's incredible because people see the efforts that we're trying to make. People understand the efforts that we're trying to make, and we're not invisible. What we're doing is being seen, and I think it's absolutely incredible that the gospel is being spread. It's been so amazing to even be an FCA leader and be able to minister to my friends and to my peers. It's been one of the most incredible experiences of my life, and I like I said, I just can't wait to see where these next 3 years go. All right, so pretty light on the sports this week. This will be our sports recap now. The women's soccer team had a huge game where they beat Illinois Wesleyan for the second time ever. They beat them 2-0. This game was incredible to watch. No points were even scored. Sorry, no goals were even scored until the second half. So it was just a really intense battle. It was really great to see them pick up that huge win. So we'll see where that momentum carries them. The women's volleyball, they won the Milliken Invitational. They did it pretty easily too. They dominated almost every game that they played in that tournament, and that was just a really fun tournament to watch as they had some great success there. And your athletes of the week, Dominic Emig for men's golf. He's helping them get 5th in the CCIW right now in placement. He's had a really great season. He's been able to come in as a freshman, shoot just right around scratch each tournament that he's played in. So that's been really impressive to watch. And for women's tennis, you got your athlete of the week, Christina Barunda. Sorry about that. And a preview of what's coming up this weekend. Obviously, it's homecoming weekend. So Milliken will be playing Illinois Wesleyan on Saturday. So that will be a fun one to watch for sure. So it's been a great homecoming week so far, and hopefully they can finish that off with a win for homecoming when everybody comes back to watch.
Yeah, I also know that for football right now, Illinois Wesleyan is 0-3. So it's going to actually be shaping up to be a pretty close and like interesting homecoming game. Because I think that we all kind of had our preconceived notions about how the game might go, but like I'm actually really excited for this Saturday. I'm on homecoming court, so I have to be there regardless. But like I think I'm going to really enjoy watching this, and I mean, there's a lot of people who are gonna be there and are just gonna be excited to see what ends up happening. And obviously I'll find out whether or not I'm homecoming king. So yeah, that'll be fun to all find out, but we'll keep you guys updated for more when we come back next time. That's pretty much all we have for today, but we'll be back next week and we'll give you a better recap. Oh, and we're gonna try and bring on another athlete of the week as well. So
yeah. That'll be very fun to watch and listen to and talk to him. Obviously we're gonna try and get some cross country athletes here because they've had some great success as well. I would like to do a football player as well because regardless of what their record says, they come out here and bust their butts every single day. Obviously, we run track, so we're out on the track when they're practicing as well. And it kind of seems like regardless of what's happening, they still have that same mentality of let's get better today, like 1% better every day. So that's just been really fun to watch as well. And I wish them the best of luck for the rest of the season as well. So
Yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next time.
this has been the Spectator's Perspective. Thanks for listening.